This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 2, verse 5. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there hath been a prophet among them. And whether they listen or refuse to listen, for remember, they are rebels, at least they will know they have had a prophet among them. Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahushai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahushai. Yahweh is the name who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahushai is his son who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, B'Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And salutation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai's sake. I'm Brother Samak from the GMS Miami camp. And yes, the reason why I brought out the book of Ezekiel chapter 2 verse 5 is that you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites, whether you believe it or not, you're going to know a prophet have been among you, okay? Because we here at Great Millstone, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem El Shai, we've been saying that a draft is coming. Conscription is coming. All right? And as you see in front of your screen, okay, you now have the selective service system, okay, which is part of the United States government, all right, wants to war game a draft scenario, okay? And right now, okay, they're shopping around, okay, for vendors. And the deadline is August. Where's the deadline at? Yeah, the deadline for vendors to propose their simulation models is August 14th. Okay? And this is before the automatic registration kicks in December 19, 2026. Okay? Okay. All right? Meaning the government doesn't need the individual to fill out a selective service form when they turn 18. Okay? They're automatically going to get registered into the system. So we're here, man. A draft is coming. And again, this is why I brought out once again Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 5. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall know that there have been a prophet among them. Right, you're going to know that a prophet has been among you. All right? A prophet is a representative of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And what does a prophet mean? To say before. We're telling you, okay, the future before it happens. Okay? Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And we've been saying, our apostles and elders have been saying for decades that a draft is coming. And now look, the selective service system wants to war game the draft. Okay? They want to do a stress test. All right? And they're calling it the readiness simulation. Okay? So we here, man. All right? And in this simulation, it says the scenarios will encompass draft registration, selection, notification, delivery, and classification. Right. And I believe they broke it down what they want to simulate, stress tests. It says the computer models will represent MEPS, military entrance processing stations. Okay? Throughput, no-shows, right? How many people are not going to show up, all right, when their number is called? Medical disqualification rates, claims processing, and ASP diversion, okay, which stands for Alternative Service Program, which includes various forms of community service as well as conscientious objectives. Right, they're going to simulate all this. How many people are conscientious objectors? Okay? How many people are just going to do community service when their name is called? All right? Because really, the only jobs that are going to be available are jobs pertaining to war and those that support the war. All right? Just like it was in World War II. All right? That's what kick-started the economy. Remember, before World War II, America was in a Great Depression. Okay? And that's why America needed to get into World War II. In fact, let me pattern recognition. What got America out of the Great Depression? Look at that. Getting out of the Great Depression was multi-stage processes primarily driven by FDR's New Deals program, which stabilized the banking system and created temporary jobs, followed by a massive, here it is, industrial mobilization for World War II, which finally eliminated mass unemployment. Right, it was World War II, all right? World War II industrial mobilization. The true end to the Great Depression arrived with the outbreak of World War II. Sound familiar? Okay. Wasn't there an article? Okay. Hold up. More people out of work in America. The number of Americans not in labor force reached a record high of 105.8 million in June, driven by slowing hiring and workers stopping their job searches. No, it's called there's no jobs available. There's a limited supply of jobs. So how are they going to be able to jumpstart, okay, or try to, I won't even say jumpstart because this economy is dying, all right, by creating community service, all right, jobs, conscientious objectors, right? They're going to be forced to do something, okay? So yeah, all right, we're here, okay? So nothing new under the sun. Point is, man, a draft is coming, and we hear the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We've been saying it over and over and over again, and now look, they're all right. The federal government, all right, mainly those that are overseeing the Selective Service System program, you know, now they're shopping around for vendors to conduct a simulation for a war game so they can stress test the draft or conscription. All right? So they know it's coming. And again, this is before the automatically registered Selective Service that begins December 19, 2026. All right? So we here, man. Let me bring this out. Ezekiel chapter 12 verse 27. Son of man, behold, day of the house of Israel say, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, and he prophesies of the times that are far off. Right, and that's the bulk of our people. They're like, not in my lifetime. My kids are going to see it. No, you're going to see it. Okay? All right? And your children are, all right, are going to be drafted, and you're going to be drafted, all right? Because there ain't going to be no age limit. All right, they're going to get rid of the age limit real soon. Okay? It's anybody that's got a what's it called? 2 working feet, 2 working hands. All right, they're going to give you a weapon and they're going to throw you out there. Look at Ukraine. Ukraine, they're drafting people in their 60s. Fact check. All right, so that you know you jakes that are in your 30s and 40s and 50s thinking that you're not going to get drafted. What is the conscription age in Ukraine? 25 to 60 years old. 25 to 60 years old. All right? Oh, didn't the army raise their volunteer to enlist to age 40 or like 42 or 40 something? Okay? So come on, man. So all you jakes out there talking about oh, my kids are gonna see it. No, your kids are gonna see it, and you gonna see it. Your ass is going to the front line, okay? Because if you're not serving the Lord don't need your ass. All right, you're gonna be cannon fodder, okay? And that's gonna be your judgment. 28. Therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord. Oh, let's read the NLT version. Salakia. Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 27. Son of man, the people of Israel are saying, he's talking about the distant future. His visions won't come true for a long, long time. Now our people clearly see that, okay, that things are happening. But now they're hoping and praying it doesn't happen in their lifetime. And I'm hearing it, okay, from a lot of our people that are into plantation Christianity, because they see what's going on. And all they keep saying is, I just pray it's not in my lifetime, okay? I just pray that, okay? Or they're banking on, I think I'm going to get raptured before all this happens, okay? Which is bullshit, all right? The elect are going to be delivered from the coming destruction. That's the so-called rapture, okay? Which rapture means what? To caught up, right? Let's double check. What does rapture mean? Caught up, there it is. A prophetic event where living and resurrected says Christian believers are caught up in the clouds to meet Yahweh Shai, right? And the true Christians are the Israelites. Yeah, but here it is. The word comes from Latin translation raptoro, or the Greek term harpazo, which means to snatch up or be caught up, right? And that's the elect being caught up, all right, before the destruction. That's why in Revelation chapter 11, for you wacky-tacky plantation Christians out there talking about, I'm going to get raptured before all this happens. No. Your ass is going to, all right, go. The Lord's going to put you through a gauntlet, all right? And then you're going to get hit with a missile. Revelation chapter 11. I'm going to start at 11 because this is pertaining to the Israelites, mainly of the elect. Revelation chapter 11, verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, right? And this is talking about the Israelites waking up to who they are, all right, standing on their feet, all right, and preaching the gospel and saying salvation is only pertaining to the Israelites. That's happening now, all right? And this is pursuant to Ezekiel 37, right? Cross-reference, right? Right, there it is. Ezekiel 37, chapter 37. You see? All right, so who's that talking about? The Israelites, no one else. For you wacky-tacky plantation Christians. All right, so let's continue on, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, come up here. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Right, this is the so-called rapture, okay? Because right after this, right after the elect are beamed up into a spaceship, a so-called UFO, a chariot, which the Pentagon and the government admit they're real, and that their technology far surpasses them, okay? Talking about 1,000 years, all right? That's Esau still trying to, try to be smart, all right? You can't put a timeline on the Lord's, okay, power. All right, that's why you Edomites, man. You're so proud, man. That's why you're going into slavery, hardcore bondage, and hey, you're gonna be working in the mines, man. All right, working in the caves where you belong, cave dweller. That's where Caucasus Mountains means, right? The cave dweller. That's where y'all came out of, the Caucasus Mountains. That's where Caucasian Caucasus Mountains. Caucasian goes back to Caucasus Mountains because y'all were dwelling in the caves, man, stinking and rotten and not changing your clothes, didn't even know how to take a bath, just disgusting. 13. In the same hour was there a great earthquake. Let's talk about the destruction, all right? And the 10th part of the city fell, and in the earthquake was slain of men 7,000. Right, first, all right, there's going to be, one nuke goes off in America, in America by more likely Russia. Okay, and then they're going to try to America's trying to plead, beg, that no more nukes come, and then the Lord is going to put the spirit on Russia, okay, and its allies, and NATO, okay, and the EU, which represents the beast. The beast shall hate the whore, and they're going to destroy this place utterly. That's why it says, and the earthquake was slain of men 7,000, meaning completion. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven, gave glory to Yahweh Bashim Yahshai of heaven. 14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. This is talking about World War III, the third woe, all right? So it's coming, and we're in the beginning of World War III, all right? So for you wacky-tacky plantation Christian, all right, the so-called rapture comes, all right, before the destruction, all right, to be caught up, which goes to caught up in a cloud, which that goes into the book of Thessalonians. All right, those that died in the truth and those that are alive, okay, in the truth, knowing that they're Israelite and preaching the gospel. All right, bringing out all the prophetic scriptures, like the mark of the beast, like the RFID chip. Okay, that's coming, because before the destruction comes, the chip has to be made mandatory. All right, but look, the chip's got to be coming soon. Look what's going on. All right. But yeah, in Thessalonians, I'll get it. What is it? That which remain. Let's do this. If I do it this way. Yep, 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. I'll start at 15. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. 16. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of the Most High, and the dead in Yahushua shall rise first. Okay? Yeah, those that died in the truth. 17. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds. Right, this is before the destruction. Okay? All right, or when the nukes are coming, let's paint this picture. The nukes are coming, the Lord's going to, okay, all right, Lord willing, I'm part of that number. All right, that's what we call ourselves a hopeful elect. All right, beam us up before the nukes hit this place, America, all right, and destroy it and annihilate it. All right, and obliterate it, okay? Those impactful words. To meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. You see? Okay? That's the so-called rapture. Okay? But yeah, it's coming, man. This draft is coming. And last one, 2nd Esdras chapter 16, verse 33. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. Why? Why is that? The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Why is that? Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Why? 34. In the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Right, there's going to be a heavy depopulation of men, especially here in America, okay? Because of these wars, all right? Because being drafted in these wars, and of course starving. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Right, this is pertaining to the Israelites. Who are the servants of the Lord? The Israelites. Behold, the words of the Lord, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. Right, and we're in the plagues, man. Okay, clearly we're seeing the plagues. As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb. Which pains? When the child cometh forth, they slack not. A moment, right? We're in the birth pains. Okay, and we're damn near in the 9th month. Okay, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. We're clearly seeing that. 40. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon earth. Right, a mindset, man. All right, knowing that this place is temporary. We're not, okay, this ain't the end all be all. All right. Hey, this place is done. And this is a confirmation. The fact that they're already doing They already need to, okay, do a stress test, simulate a war game, okay, regarding, all right, the usage to mobilize a draft or conscription proves that this place is done. They don't have the numbers, all right, and this war Iran is getting a whole lot bigger, okay, and now you got the war spreading because the Houthis are back in, all right, and they're doing a naval blockade, all right. So these wars are getting bigger. Ukraine is getting bigger, okay. The Ukraine war is getting bigger on both sides. Russia's getting there's a lot of their infrastructure getting hit. So and America's now going to give more money and more weapons to Ukraine, all right. And now there's a narrative being built. See, this is why we stand on our watch, all right. China, Russia assisting Iran. Trump warns China, Russia against involvement in Iran war. Trump warns China, Russia against aiding Iran amid escalating strikes. Trump, if Russia and China help Iran, it would be very bad for them. Yo, we here, man. Get ready for a draft, all right? Get ready for depopulation, and this is it, man. Get ready for famine, all right? And of course, the chip, the mark of the beast, because this has to happen, all right? This has to happen. There has to be a depopulation so that they can implement the chip easier, all right? Esau, he's looking at the numbers too. He's like, he needs to bring down the numbers in these wars and these famines and these pestilence, all right, so that he can chip, okay, the people easier, those that survive it, all right? So we're here, man, all right? Look at this, man. This World War III is getting bigger and spicier, man. Get ready for a draft. Get ready for all hell to break loose. All right? We here, man. And you heard it from the prophets. Ye shall know that a prophet had been among you. Thus saith the Lord. All right? And for the hopeful elect, hey, we're almost out of here, man. Yahweh Shai is coming, man. These are signs that our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai is coming to deliver us from this hell, man. This captivity. So with that, I want to give all praises and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught us this truth. They are the true teachers for the nation of Israel on earth today. And citation to the Akim out there pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth and risking their life for Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai's sake. Love you, brothers. Keep it door, keep the faith, keep pushing, keep fighting, keep studying. Pray without ceasing. Pray for each other. Pray for the apostles, elders. We're almost out of here. To the fuses that are watching, keep studying. When you pray each other cover. Hey, we're almost out of here, man. Things are getting spicy, as you can see. All right, prophecies are moving fast. All right, so lock in. All right, take it. Don't be like Lot's wife. All right, looking back into this world, man. This world is all right, is finished, man. We're at the end of this age, man. End of this this system, man. This beast system. All right. So we got the kingdom, man. Look forward to the kingdom. With that, shalom. And as the apostle elders always say, on to the next one. Shalom.